Hey guys, sorry about that. I'm here. I just ran in the door. Oh my goodness. Somebody remind me to just not plan on Monday live chats. Just we'll let them happen naturally. But this whole scheduling them ahead of time, oh my goodness, Mondays are busy. So I'm here. Let me take a look here real quick. Oh my goodness. Hey guys, okay, here we go. Tennyson, has tried to locate him on a live stream and couldn't. Okay, I'm missing anything before that comment. Susie says, sure did, Mrs. Fluffer. Apples and trees. Boy, this is interesting. Star Mama says, SW learned from her mom, listened to FR interview and the pizza video, how SR treated BW. Sounds like you guys have had a pretty amazing conversation already. New Orleans lady says, yes, your parents, not 3-year-olds. These are kind of cool comments, not knowing what was said before, huh? Sophia says, yes, but if you dig up the dirt first, you can't place a tombstone on until 6 months later. Susie says, been over that 100 times. LOL, lots of love. He was listed on the system in the prison. I checked it myself. His name was removed December. Really? Mrs. Fluffer says, and why did her mom spell her name wrong on her grave? I love you guys. Man, I'm not even here, and you guys are just off to the races with this. I love it. Sophia says, so he's not in the system. M says, whose name is spelled wrong? SW? Sophia says, paying his taxes from a prison he's not listed in. I do wonder about that paying the taxes routine. How is it he's able to pay those property taxes? And if the house was foreclosed on, why is he paying any property taxes? MJ says, Parks, do you know that for sure that he's not in prison? Mrs. Fluffer said, but they call her Shannon. Susie says his name was removed because of so many people calling the prison, allegedly. Tennyson says, allegedly. Mrs. Fluffer says SW's mother spelled it SHAN''ANN on the grave. Susie says, in my opinion, he's in prison. Tennyson says, because it's SHANNON. That's the pronunciation by her birth family, but evidently it was spelled the other way, according to a news article that listed like elementary school students' names, and it had it spelled the weird way. Tennyson says, but Susie, we just don't have evidence of anything. Mrs. Fluffer makes a good point. Where is SW's birth certificate? I want to see where the high school diploma is too. And I'm thinking, what about that wedding list from the first wedding? Tennyson says, Sophia, we just don't know. Star Mama says, I want to see the coroner who did the autopsy behind bars because they do not make sense at all. SW could have had an open casket, not the girls, but why not? Why did SR identify her over the phone? What'd she say? Is she beautiful? Does she have black hair? That's an identification over the phone, really? M says, I guess you don't have to put your legal name on a headstone. New Orleans lady says, well, first off, the comment that M made, don't you think it's kind of strange? And correct me if I'm wrong, but why do the girls have a different last name? Come on. New Orleans says, Chris is in prison and SW and the children are dead. I don't believe they are in hiding. MJ says, where's MM? Well, that was a good question, MJ. I will tell you this. The police officer who pulled me over this morning was so professional and so polite. I've had an eventful day. Also, before I keep going with the comments, I want to say this. If anyone wants to hop up on the panel and talk about any of the stuff that's going on, feel free to hop up on the panel, because I know I've been getting some very interesting emails and there's a lot of interesting stuff out there. So I'll just throw that invitation out there real quick. In fact, I'll figure out here. Hold on. I will copy and paste. Okay, there's the link to do it. And then the other thing I want to say is this. I created 2 new tiers on Patreon, and I figured out how to do a 15% discount for all of the tiers. The tiers that I created to add to the other ones, one is about real estate and one is about domestic relations mediations. So if you are into either one of those subjects, feel free to jump on board. But I did figure out how to do a 15% discount for any annual signups, which I think I'll run like through November. I'm so glad I found it. 15 was as high as I could go. So I don't know, check out the tiers and see. They're at Patreon/Miss Mensa, and then check out whatever one. And then if you do it, like we have $3 tiers, $5 tiers, $10 tiers. And I think that's it. There might be a 7, but I'm not sure. If it's something that suits your fancy, then definitely check out that 15% discount thing. So I wanted to mention that. And I think that's it. Pretty much, though, if you want to hop up on panel, feel free, because I think there is so much. There's just so much going on right now that I don't know how to even be where to begin. But you guys feel free to tell me where, or to hop up on panel and help me begin. So I'll keep going with the comments quick. Susie says, I'm not into the conspiracies of him not being in prison. I'm not either, Susie. I think he is in prison. I believe what he said to his mother, that he's taking responsibility for what happened. Mrs. Fluffer says, Star, it's not SW's body, that's why. Tennyson says, there's just so much to guess in this case. Susie says, I'm not into the other conspiracies of them being alive. Sophia says, we just don't have facts. I think we have a lot of facts in this case. Mrs. Fluffer says, that's why the autopsy is messed up. Wrong body. It is pretty weird that the autopsy says healthy, no scar, right? I mean, come on. You would think that scar would be visible, right? Star Mama says, CW is in prison and needs to be. He's hiding the truth, I feel. I think he is being threatened. M says, I'm open to anything that will make this case make sense. Well, M, I think we pretty much have made some sense of it. Things seem to fit into place with different things we've heard. Susie says, Star, I remember SR said in an interview, is she beautiful? Then that's my daughter. WTF. Yeah, that's identifying a body, really? New Orleans said the autopsy had to fit the timeline, and it doesn't. That's why it doesn't make sense. Sophia says, also, why isn't the house on Google Maps? Ooh, that's a good question. Susie says, in my opinion, he's covering out of guilt. New Orleans says they're trying to stop people from going there. Well, they could find it if they want to go there. Mrs. Fluffer says, we keep blaming the medical examiner, but I think they did it right, just not on SW. Way too many mistakes. Star Mama says, Susie, and does she have black hair? Yes. Is she beautiful? And does she have black hair? Which she didn't even have black hair, but whatever. Susie says, autopsy and discovery are BS. Sophia says, guilty because of NK? What? I don't think NK had anything to do with anything. MJ says, this case is so bizarre. And also bizarre are all the weirdos who are trying to, keep the lies going. Oh, she was a retired nurse. Yeah. She was successful. Don't you know? Susie says, yep, and other things. He's covering for SW still. Mrs. Fluffer says, okay, one error, but if SW had all that shit wrong and the body had none and no metal pin, those are good points. Very good points. New Orleans says, I guess we're not having a live. Mrs. Fluffer said, I think she forgot. I did not forget at all. I'm just so sorry. I wasn't here. And then as time was flying by, I'm just like, oh. And then I'm thinking, oh, this is what I get for trying to plan one. That's how it always seems to be when I try to schedule one. Then I'm like, oh, crap. So, but I'm here now. Mrs. Fluffer is putting up cute little icons or emojis, I mean. Sarah Mama says, if it was my family, I would never lie for anyone. But if it was my daughter, she would have lost her kids long ago. Exactly. Star Mama says, MM is on a different time. Is she mixed up? Oh, man, is MM mixed up? Mrs. Fluffer says, we were saying how the 6-week trip that summer was to plan it all out. Ooh. Ooh. I was thinking the 6-week trip was like the last hurrah before she lost all access to Bella and Cece. Susie says, or maybe stuck in traffic. She told me she was going live. Mrs. Fluffer said, me too. M says, has anyone ever seen the courts move so quickly? I'll answer that. Never. And then the comment continues, he was sentenced 3 months after. Isn't that unheard of? I'll answer that question. Yes. Tennyson says, red flag. Mrs. Fluffer said, nope, other smaller things drag on. Exactly. I think it was Scott Reich who said one time, like a shoplifter's case would take longer than Chris Watts' case did. Susie said, they wanted that wrapped up as fast as possible. Tennyson says, but it's fun to think it's real. Star Mama says, I sent her an email. Thank you, Star Mama. I haven't checked yet. I don't do the phone thing. I think I can access, but I don't think I'm not set up that way. Sorry about that. That would have been the logical thing too, right? For me to just think and go, oh, I think I'll send Star Mama an email and tell her. And then you could have told everyone else. But no, I just hustled and got here way late. Oh, sorry about that, you guys. That is so wrong. So wrong. I will, I don't know, like make me do 2 of them this weekend or something for my penance. Mrs. Fluffer said, okay. Mrs. Fluffer said, I planned my morning for this. Lots of love. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. Susie said, LOL, lots of love, Mrs. Fluffer. It's nearly 6 p.m. here. Mrs. Fluffer said, dinner time for you. Mrs. Fluffer said, I just ate lunch. You guys want me to scroll down these comments? Let's do this. Susie said, I had it early so I could give this live my full attention. Aw. MJ took off. She said, later, God bless. And everyone's saying bye to MJ. I'm going to scroll down. Let's go way down. I'm going to scroll here. Star Mama says, we have been lied to so much. It's unreal. Exactly. I don't know of any other true crime case ever where so many lies have been told. Candace says, I love this channel. It's nice to know others feel the same way I do about this case. I've always thought watching SW's Facebook videos, there was something off about her parenting. Absolutely agree with that. Star Mama says, has anyone ever seen SW's birth certificate? How old is she? I think she was 40, quite frankly. I think she was 40. Spacebound said she was so proud too. Hunt said, never seen that, and maybe my research research skills are poor, but I haven't found many pictures of her youth either as a child or an adolescent. Exactly. You know, the absence sometimes of something is something. Okay, good. That's where I came in with the StreamYard link. I'll go ahead and post it again if anyone wants to jump up. There it is. And let's see. Daisy is driving, can't talk. Ridiculous identification, exactly. Is she beautiful? Yeah. What if the guy would have said, no, she isn't? Christy says, okay, it's 5:37 a.m. here in Australia, and I'm listening. We'll probably fall asleep again. Please ask Sophia to go on panel. Would love to hear her theory. Love to you all, Bobs. LOL. Lots of love. Oh, Star Mama says the avocado is back today. Oh, great. So evidently the scripts are still being handed out then, huh? Spacebound says, agree, Susie, or threatened. Susie says, woohoo, we're live. Finally. Star Mama says, hi, Christy. Hunt says, before finding this channel, I used to wonder if maybe SW hadn't disappeared into thin air to get out of debt. She would have just, held a fundraiser and said, hey, if you're going to give cash, just give it to me and I'll make sure the Lupus Foundation gets it, right? Mostly, she said, because of the autopsy that did not seem to match her diseases. Star Mama says, hi, Spacebound. Spacebound says, hey, Star Mama. Okay, I'm clicking here. Star Mama says, it's life, MM. When you plan something, it can backfire. Lots of love. I know it. It's like, I almost, when I was posting this planning this one, scheduling it, I was like, what time? Should I go like 1 something, noon? I was kind of, and I'm like, no, let's get started on it early. Yeah. And we see how MM did with that. Yeah. Susie says scripts indeed. LOL. I have no doubt after watching just in the, all you have to do is see the last few weeks, and I have zero doubt about the whole script thing. I think it's all scripted. I think it's all disgusting. And I don't know if maybe that's a good place for us to start with this live chat, is just how just flat out disgusting it is. People pretending to fight with people. It's just so weird. It's just so weird. You guys decide what you want to talk about. I'm going to go wash my hands really quick and grab a can of tuna. And I'll be right back, I promise. And I will hurry, and I mean it. I'll be right back. I just have to eat something. I haven't had lunch. Okay, I'm back. So I will scroll up and see what we're going to start talking about. Let's see here. Susie says, I feel left out with the GoFundMe trend. I need a holiday. Should we start a GoFundMe for Susie so she can have a holiday? That'd be cool. I don't know. I don't need a new roof or anything. So I'm not sure what we could do for a GoFundMe for me on. I'm using a manual can opener right now. This is kind of fun. Getting back to my roots. Set that down. I am using a manual can opener for you guys because I knew that would be faster. It would get me back to the computer faster. Okay. Spacebound is driving to. Okay, Coffee Girl has a suggestion or a question. Maybe it's just a question. Were the girls really in the oil tanks? So let's do a 1 if you think the girls were actually in the oil tanks. Let's do a 2 if you think the girls were not actually, and I'll be more specific, dumped in the oil tanks from the top, smushed in through an 8-inch hole, I think is what the claim is. If you disagree with the storyline, with the narrative, then that's a 2. If you agree with the narrative and you think that Christopher Watts or anybody, I guess, whatever, shoved them through an 8-inch hole and that they were in a bunch of oil, then that would be a 1. I'm going to mute it just for a second while I make a lot of noise with. And now you guys get to hear me eat lunch. So I voted a 2. I don't believe that the girls were shoved through some 8-inch hole. And I highly doubt they were dumped in some sort of vat of oil. I think if they were anywhere in that contraption, I think they were placed there from some sort of a maintenance door and laid toward the bottom, probably with the intention of returning to bury their bodies later. Mary's here. She says, hey, MM and chat. Susie says, Susie calling Samantha, LOL. She said she's in hospital. I hope she's okay. Oh my gosh. If she's in hospital, is it time for baby? Is it? She better be okay. Let's see here. Samantha. Robin says, hey, Chesters. Hey, Mary. And then Susie said, yes. Susie said, or a boiler. Mary said, hey, Susie. Or a roof, LOL, lots of love. Brooke says 1. Susie says, Mary, ha, ha, ha. Robin 1. Christy 2. I say 2. Susie says 1. Star Mama says 2. PM says 2. Susie's confused on the choices. Number 1 is if you believe the narrative, like we're being told that Christopher Watts shoved the girls through an 8-inch hole. Number 2, if you think it's BS. Mary says 1. M says 1. Susie says they were in oil. Robin says the girls' caskets were larger because they had to be specially wrapped as they were flammable. Do you believe that, you guys? I'm going to take a bite now, so you're going to hear crunching. Okay, talking with my mouth full. I'm going to repeat what Robin said. The girls' caskets were larger because they had to be specially wrapped as they were flammable. And Robin believes that, right? Well, I have a question. If they were so flammable, Didn't they fly their bodies to the East Coast? Weren't their bodies put on a plane and they were flown to the East Coast? Am I right? So if they were so highly flammable, then how could it be that they were able to be flown on an airplane? Wouldn't that have been super dangerous? To put something so highly flammable in an airplane? I mean, after all, when you fly on a plane, you can't even take your little bottle of nail polish, right? So I'm scrolling through and I think it's interesting that we do have a lot of different opinions about whether or not the girls were even in oil, whether or not they were put through an 8-inch hole, whether or not they were actually flown, if they were saturated, right? Whether or not they actually did pose any sort of risk being, flammable and all. You guys know me. I'm skeptical. And again, that's very different from being cynical, but I highly doubt that they were highly flammable. Because it seems to me if they were highly flammable, then they would not have been able to have been put on a plane and flown to the East Coast. Just my opinion. Plus, we've been lied to so many times about so many things. Like, I don't know what I believe about any of these details like that. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I do not believe they were shoved through an 8-inch hole. I don't believe it. And that's where it all begins, right? I also don't believe they were alive when they left the house. I don't believe that at all. Okay, Daisy Day says, let's talk about the makeup bag. What could have been in it? Had to be something good. I call it the traveling makeup bag. And I'm curious why it would have ever been placed into evidence after it went on its own little trip. What do you guys think? What do you think was in the makeup bag? Okay, I'm sitting here eating crackers and tuna, and I'm reading your comments, and I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute. If they can transport that, then why can't I take my nail polish? And this thing of a special vehicle, really? Is that what the $100 and some $1,000 was raised for? I'm just being sarcastic. I don't see it. I don't see it. I think we're being told a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. And the idea of an adult sized casket, why? That makes no sense. If they're going to have them wrapped in special protective stuff, it makes no sense. When I saw those adult caskets, I was like, what's going on with that? What on earth is going on with that? It's just like the BAC level, you guys. I don't believe it. I don't believe that she was not drinking. I think she was drunk. And so I can hear all these stories about decomposition and stuff, and I'm just like, yada, yada, yada. I don't believe it. I think she was drunk. Well, I do the same thing when I see an adult-sized casket. And no, I don't believe the whole storyline. I just don't. That's just me. I don't believe it. Tennyson is not believing that this case actually happened. That's interesting, Tennyson, that you reached that belief or that opinion. But I think it's cute. Tennyson says, but I'll listen for shots. Or no, shats? Shots or shats? Shots, I think. Nope, shats. Tennyson says, but I'll listen for shats and giggles. I think she meant, the other word, but I thought at first it said shots. And I was going to say, we don't take shots on this channel. Well, maybe sometimes we'll take a shot of soda or maybe have some, mint ice cream, mint chocolate chip ice cream with a shot of chocolate syrup. Just saying. Star Mama answers the question. What was in the makeup bag? Meds. SW made sure people didn't know about for her moods and mental state. I think there were pills in the makeup bag, but I don't think they were meds. I think they were pills that I think she was probably hooked on. OXY. Robin Hall says the knives. Yes, check the knives. But I do think the makeup bag had some I think it had illegal drugs in it, in fact. And I think it's absurd that any law enforcement agency would have said, hey, do you have that makeup bag? Yeah. Have you opened it yet? Oh, you haven't? Okay. Well, bring it back and we'll put it into evidence then. That makes no sense. Tennyson says, do you think she was purchasing illegal substances and got in trouble somehow in North Carolina? I think she was either given or purchased drugs that she probably shouldn't have been taking. Yeah, you're right, Susie. There is some confusion there, I think. And you're right, Samantha, about the $6,000 to bury a fetus that we were told, remember, was a coffin birth and 4.2 ounces, I think it was, just off the top of my head. I think that's what it was, 4.2 ounces. 4.2 ounces, really? A fetus, 4.2 ounces, cost $6,000 to bury. And then we were also told it was supposedly placed in Christopher Watt's wife's casket. Really? Really? Again, there's a difference between being skeptical and cynical. Ooh, Susie has an answer. I have no clue how to pronounce it. Dirocodeine, opiates, heroin substitute. Is it like a cheap person's or the poor man's heroin or something like that? Not the heroin, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like the difference between Coke and crack. Star Mama says, I think the Oxy was in her pill bottle in her purse. That was for the nausea. Really? Is that what Oxy's for? Or no, you mean the pill bottle in her purse that was supposed to be for pills that were for her nauseous pregnancy or migraine nauseousness or, I mean, come on. What about her sugar? I mean, remember, by then she was diabetic, right? Hope she had some good sugar pills with her. And I'm kidding when I say sugar pills. Number one, if you think that she wasn't physically ill at all. Number two, if you think that she actually had any physical health challenges. I've never heard that before, Samantha. Samantha says synthetic heroin, man-made heroin. Oxy is called hillbilly heroin. Wow. Okay. So we have a true crime case where we're being told that she had a very long list of serious diseases. And pretty much those of us who have actually spent some time researching this case are of the opinion that she was not physically ill, which leads us to believe that maybe she was mentally ill, to which I think most of us would say, yep. Now let's skip right over to that Jeremy interview. Remember last time we got together and we were talking about the interview of the Lindstroms and how they told law enforcement that they moved there. Christopher Watson and his wife moved there in 2010. Okay. And then they said maybe 2011, but it was a couple years before Bella was born. They moved to Colorado in 2010, maybe 2011. Really? Is that why we're told she quit her job just a few weeks after meeting Christopher Watts? Oh, good point on the opiates, Susie. Susie said she also moaned about being constipated for something like 14 days straight or something ridiculous. Susie said constipation is the number one side effect of opiates. And I was told by Cindy Watts that she was known as a seeker. So there's that. But let's think about now, what if they actually did move to Colorado? Or maybe just what if Christopher Watts' wife moved to Colorado in 2010? Can you think of any reason why that might have been the case? That's what the Lindstroms said. And I'm sorry, but I think they're pretty darn honest people from the sounds of things. Star Mama just posted a comment that is what I think was going on. Star Mama said because she gave birth to twins. You know how we were told that she was a nanny for the nurse? They met evidently on care.com where people can post ads, right? Well, what if they did meet on care.com, but what if it was the other way around? I just don't think Christopher Watt's wife was a nanny. Plus, if you babysit one kid for a couple months, sorry, that doesn't mean you're a nanny. It means you're a babysitter, for Pete's sake. But what if care.com was actually where somebody found a caregiver for Christopher Watt's wife? What if? And what if, all this talk about the twins, what if the twins were actually born in Colorado? Tennyson says, I doubt she had twins. Why would she claim fertility issues? Well, Tennyson, why would she claim fertility issues is a good question. She was married for how many months? 4 months, I think. I think it was 4 months when she got pregnant with Bella. So why would she claim fertility issues? Okay, now let's dig in deeper. What if she did have other pregnancies? What if she had many other pregnancies? The scumbag attackers who have been attacking many of us for 3 years straight, they claim that we had babies when we were 14 years old. Where would that have ever come from? But remember, everything they've accused us of, those of us they've been targeting and trying to harm and attacking and threatening, everything they've accused us of has come true for Christopher Watt's wife. All we have to do is just dig a little. Well, then, voila, they're accusing us of having had babies when we were 14 years old. Really? So think about it. How many babies do you think Christopher Watt's wife had? Remember that all of a sudden, she quit taking 28 pills a day. Well, what if she was pregnant? She said her doctor said she should move to Colorado. Well, okay. How does that fit? What if she did get pregnant as a teenager? What if she got pregnant other times? What if she did have those twins that everyone's talking about? Fertility issues? Are you kidding me? And remember, one of the relatives told the police that they moved into the house because of Christopher Watt's wife's problem pregnancy. Except, as far as we knew, Christopher Watt's wife wasn't pregnant at that point. Well, maybe she was. You do know that there are people who do have babies for money, right? And think about this. Do you honestly believe that Christopher Watt's wife was 34 years old? Just look at the pictures. Why was her close friend so unsure of her age? Well, if she was having a lot of babies, I would think if I was going to adopt a baby, I don't think I would pick a baby from a mother in her 30s, right? I would want a baby, if I was going to order a baby, I would want a baby from a mother in her prime childbirthing years, right? I just would, wouldn't you? So I wonder, how many babies did she have? Think about this too, you guys. We're told that she did not go in for prenatal care with the latest claim of pregnancy, right? Yes, she went to a strip mall for a picture. Don't go in for prenatal care, but go to a strip mall for a picture? Could it be somebody wanted a picture? Could it be that maybe the actual doctor was not on the radar? You guys are talking about the time where she said that she saved her and then she showed a picture of her hand, or is that a different one? Are you talking about when Cece fell off the couch? I don't know. Or the time she was heading head first down the stairs and she evidently didn't concern herself with whether or not Cece was going to get hurt? Oh, the other one where they were on the sofa. Yep. Yep. I wonder who, if anybody, was supposed to be there supervising that activity. And I wonder who, if anyone, decided that it was a good idea to put that crap online. Lisa said she caused that fall and continued to stay on her live. She was a terrible mother. Don't you guys think it's weird that all those pictures and videos were left online for so long for people to see? especially like the water in the face video, the Whack-A-Daddy video, the Santa Claus video, right? Don't you think it's weird that those were left online? Or the crap with the rectal thermometer? Or Cece being stuck in the toilet? Or Cece with feces on her face? And I think personally, the worst of all those photos of the girls with blankets and pillows over their faces while they slept. Who thought it was a good idea to leave all that crap online? Who thought it was a good idea to leave those kids in that house after it was posted online? Star Mama says, I've seen videos where she pinched Cece's leg and it showed bruises later. And she also said, and the zoo video, she never took them or she would have posted how bad they were. I highly doubt she ever took them to the zoo, ever. I think because Ronnie and Cindy took Bella to the zoo, and then she's like, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go too, even though she had a newborn baby at that point. I think she figured, oh, going to the zoo is what normal people do. So I think that probably for her mother-in-law's sake, she was posting that she was taking the kids to the zoo. I highly doubt she had the freedom or the legal right to take the kids anywhere. PM says, Tennyson, I saw the video in the kitchen where she's holding Cece and Cece falls backwards and SW quote unquote saves her. You know, abusers do that, right? They create the situation, then they play rescuer, right? Oh, she's so wonderful. She saved her daughter. Really? Yes, Robin. Christopher Watt's wife said she was all alone and, you know, taking the girls to the zoo all by herself, and she had to have her juju, her juju super power drink in order to be able to, I guess, coexist with her own children. It was a big deal how, she had so much to deal with. Oh, she was so superhuman. And then you see her mother running across the back of the video, right? And, I don't even think Christopher Watt's wife knew it. She kept right on, superhuman. Susie, that is an excellent point. It's all part of Munchausen by proxy. Creating the condition, creating the illness, creating the symptoms, creating the pain, creating the discomfort, and then, reaching your hand out over toward the hospital bed and putting your hand on one child's head, I think forehead or shoulder or whatever, while hugging the other child sitting in the chair, wearing your scrubs. Don't forget to wear your scrubs. Yeah. the rescuer, the savior, the superhero. Lisa's saying she wants to know my theory when I say that I don't think CW committed murder. Well, if I don't think CW committed murder, who do you think I think did? Yes, no going live from the zoo. Exactly, Daisy Days. Tennyson says SW was such a psycho. I have no doubt that if she actually had the ability to take the kids to the zoo, and if she actually did take the kids to the zoo, which I doubt she ever did, I think she, sat in the wheelchair and had Christopher Watts pushing her around. The one time it sounds like that Bella got to go to the zoo. But I have no doubt, had she actually taken the kids to the zoo ever, there would have been videos going. Mary says, I had one at 15. Well, I didn't, and neither did the other people who were being targeted for attack. So for them to be saying this isn't about whether or not someone had one, this is about why would they be saying that about all of us they're attacking, those of us that they targeted right from the start? And just like everything else that they've accused us of, it's kind of like, okay, are you really talking about Christopher Watts' wife? Yes, Star Mama, and the dance classes that they took. Exactly. What dance classes? What dance classes? Really? They didn't even get to play in their backyard, for Pete's sake. Susie says, in my opinion, he knew nothing on the porch. I agree with you, Susie. I think the reason he's standing there acting like he's clueless and rocking back and forth and hugging himself is because he had no clue what the hell was going on. Susie and Robin are talking about how she was going to the zoo possibly to network, or that she was always about network. I don't think so. I think that was her, like, La La Land, her make-believe world. I don't see it. I don't think she was successful at all. I think she had other things going on, like a disability check and maybe some big cash payoffs every couple years. If you guys didn't hear the very beginning when I first got on here, I created a couple of new tiers on Patreon and I found the discount thing. So if you sign up for a year, there's a 15% discount. I figured it out for the most expensive tier, which is $10 and all inclusive of all the true crime stuff. If my math in my head is right, let's see. Let me see, how do I do this? Well, it'd be 15 plus 3 plus 3. No, 15 plus 3, right? I think it'd be 15 plus 3. Yeah, so it'd be 18. So it would actually be, if you covered 10 months, then you'd get months 11 and 12 almost. It'd be like you'd get months 11 and 8/10 of month 12. So it's kind of sort of buy 10, get 2 free, but it's not quite 2. It's 1.8. And then also I uploaded, well, I didn't upload, but I created this thing about mediations. and also one about real estate. So if you have any questions about mediations or any questions about real estate, then I have a thing on Patreon where you can sign up and ask me questions. So that's kind of cool. Robin said, if you're on disability, don't you automatically get insurance? I have no idea, but I think so. Yeah, that whole thing of her spotting and cramping, but she was out of network and all that crap, that is total bull. There's no way that a pregnant woman would not have gone in unless there's something fishy going on. And if you think about it, think about all the discussions about twins. Oh, she had a play date with her other two daughters, we were told, right? When did she move? Was it 2010? Was it 2011? Was it 2012? Was it 2013? No prenatal care? Really? Yet she went to a strip mall. No emergency care? Really? Oh, out of network. Well, is that it? Or was it that she wasn't near the doctor she was supposed to see? You know what I'm saying? Tennyson wants to know if I think she had another man in North Carolina. I think she may have thought she did, but I don't think she did. I think she may have thought she did because I don't think she was wrapped real tight. Susie says she didn't bother seeking help for spotting because there was no baby, in my opinion. Well, I think if there was, I have a feeling there was something fishy going on. I'm thinking there was something fishy going on. It just seems too weird. I think she was on disability. I think she would have had insurance. Like I think Robin brought up. If she was pregnant and if it was her baby with her husband, if the storyline is it's being presented right, it was anything close to being true, there would have been no hesitation to go in for help to make sure the baby was okay. So what was really going on? And what's with all the, flying on airplanes when you're spotting and cramping and taking off for a weekend in Arizona with a bunch of MLMers? Really? Is that the value placed on the unborn? Really? And there are a lot of people connected to this case who say they're nurses. Well, I know quite a few nurses in my lifetime. I think a lot of you guys either are nurses or nurses too. Do you really think nurses are going to be friends with somebody who doesn't go in for prenatal care? I don't think so. But wait a minute. What if the nurses were like, nurses' aides? So many of the attackers are like, well, it doesn't matter if you're really a nurse, as long as you consider yourself a nurse. No, it matters. It matters big time whether or not you're really a nurse. But think about it. If you're on disability and in need of supervision and you have a series of nurses' aides that maybe took a 4-week class somewhere, granted, they work hard, but we're not talking about an RN program, okay? And then maybe if you're having a lot of babies, then maybe there are nurses' aides that help out with that too, right? Maybe she was only supposed to be seeing a certain doctor. Maybe a lot of her friends maybe were, learning different ways of making money. Hey guys, I hate to cut this short, but let's take off for now. And I'm going to be, I think, hopping on Wednesday or Thursday, and then we'll do a couple this weekend. So everybody have a great next couple of days, and then I'll bug you on Wednesday or Thursday again. See you soon.